Welcome to the Author Showcase Series, presented by the South Florida Writers Association, a nonprofit organization whose mission is to provide literary arts and support writers. Today's guest is Dr. Linda M. Campbell, an educator with experience as a principal and teacher in secondary education. She is also a business leader and adjunct doctoral chair/advisor. Linda Campbell is the author of Blocks of Time, a book on time to task management. The book is a self portrait of Dr. Campbell's use of time blocks, both professionally and personally. Welcome.
Thank you, David, for having me.
Definitely. So, we always like to start from the beginning. When did you first realize you were a writer?
I think I first realized it in the third grade when I was writing. I could write stories and sentences and just compose my thoughts. And I would just write anything and everything I could. And I'd even break the lead in my pencils because I wrote so much and press so hardly on the paper. So I would say from about third grade forward, and with that, I would write poems, stories, narratives, anything that I could. It just seemed to flow out of me.
And that continued as you became an educator? Did you continue writing, or were there breaks, or how did that work?
It really continued through my whole professional life, my early married life. I love to journal. I've probably written about 75, 80 journals, just writing. And whatever creative thing that would come to me, I would write. It could be a poem, it could be a narrative, it could be a memoir, it could be just my thoughts on anything. So I would just do that. So, really, I'd say throughout my life, I've been writing, but formally, in terms of writing a book, I I knew subconsciously eventually I would do that, but I started once I became an educator and I had the felt the need to share my knowledge, to help students, to help other people. So that's when I really started to think about formalizing my writing. Also, I wanted to be an investigative reporter when I was very young. And I always thought when I grow up, that's what I'm going to do. So, in a different sort of way, I've done that through a dissertation, I've done that through writing, through interviewing, and listening to students for years and years and years.
And your book, Blocks of Time, sounds like it could be of a lot of use to writers. What inspired you to write this book?
Well, David, what really inspired me was after we had our second child. I was a principal at the time in a school. I had a staff of about 26 people. I was busy. We also had an older son who was about 9.5. And when we had the second child, I almost panicked. I was in the hospital after giving birth, and I thought, how in the world am I supposed to manage all of this? An infant, another child with homework and activities, a husband, a family, and be a principal, have a staff of teachers and all these students. And I literally panicked. And I remember being I was at a hospital, Holy Cross Hospital in Silver Spring, Maryland. And I remember just lying down. This was the day after I had given birth. And I honestly just laid there and I thought, I need some help. How am I going to do all of this? And then I went into a mild state of sleep. I remember it so vividly. And it just came to me. I, it was divinely inspired for me. And it just came to me block your time. And the whole concept of giving 100% of your attention to your time, to the task at the time, And it just flowed. And all of a sudden, all my anxieties left. And I thought, oh, this is how I do it. Instead of multitasking so much, you still have to do that as a, as a mother and a parent. You got to juggle everything. But the concept was pre-think what you're going to do, how you're going to do it, and then set time blocks to do that. Whether it's a 5-minute task or 2-hour task, set time blocks. And I started to do that at home, at school, and it was phenomenal. I started seeing how much I could get accomplished. And people would ask me, how do you accomplish so much? I went to graduate school. I had 2 children in school with all the activities. They were in a private school and there were a slew of activities to do, and everything had to be done, a certain way, certain time. I got all of it done. I'm not saying that I wasn't rushed sometimes, but I learned to predetermine my blocks and I changed my mindset. And that has a lot to do with it. And whatever I would do, I do it for 100%. Like our interview right now, nothing else matters except for this interview. This is the block of time. Now, all the other things I may need to do, want to do, they come later. So mentally, my mind is set on this block. I've designated the time and I'm stress free because of that. So that had a lot to do with the blocks of time um and I decided to write a book and just express it. I felt like I should have written the book years and years ago when I first had our second child, but I launched it in 2021 when we moved to Florida. We were here. I was more relaxed, and I said, now I'm going to document, I'm going to launch this book.
Yeah, it reminds me of the saying, if you want something done, give it to someone busy. And
This is true. But you find out how busy people get things accomplished. So that's how it happened. And I mean, I got 2 degrees. Both sons went to college. I'm still with my husband. We have family. We moved here. I was in education, so many, many thousands of students graduate, even successfully. Yeah, definitely successfully, because I was their principal and I was very involved in what they did and how they did it and having high standards of excellence. So all of that got accomplished because of my blocks of time. So I
great.
encourage anyone to read it if you are a busy professional, or just personally to help you organize, prioritize, be consistent, and take some of the stress out of our lives.
That's great. And we'll have you read from it in a few minutes, read a passage. Since you're relatively new to South Florida, how has the region shaped you at all as a writer so far?
Well, number one, as a writer, I think it has because of the palm trees, the sunshine, and the ocean. It's more intrinsically relaxing to be around that. And then I semi-retired. I'm not retired, but I'm semi-retired. I'm very involved in a lot of projects. Um, it just lends itself to writing. So I don't have that stress of a 60-hour week and that those kind of stressors. And I get to do things where I set the agenda and the time frames. So writing here in this area is actually beautiful. And I'm really working on some other manuscripts right now.
Oh, great. And you wrote blocks of time after you moved here, you said.
I
Uh,
launched it. I started
oh,
it
you launched it.
before,
Okay, okay.
but I launched it that in another book, The Miracle Study Guide Revised edition, in 2021. We moved here 6 years ago. So a
Okay.
lot has happened in 6 years.
Yes, yes, the region's changed. And how do you mind sharing a little bit what you're working on now as far as a writer, as being a writer? You said you're working on a couple
Oh,
projects.
I'd be happy to. Much of my work has been around leadership as a principal, as a guidance counselor, and even in the business arena prior to coming into education. So leadership is near and dear to me. And the next book will be on leadership for anyone.
Fantastic. Would you like to read now a passage from Blocks of Time?
Oh, absolutely, by all means. Now, this is on blocks of time and how it works. Blocks of time reveals a systematic approach for assigning time blocks to accomplish a plethora of tasks and goals within a 24-hour time period. The key to the success of the process is that you get to assign the time blocks. So you're in control of the process. I will always remember when I discovered the blocks of time concept in a dream. It was a life-changing experience. The blocks of time process required me to prioritize my tasks, assigning specific time blocks to them. During each time block, I devoted 100% attention to completing a specific task. The length of time of the task did not matter. The process was the same. Of course, this process took time and commitment to develop. Blocks of time required a 100% focus on a task. Now, one task was not in competition or conflict with another. A task could last for minutes or hours. The time process allowed me to focus on the chosen task. Then, after completing a task or activity, I moved to the next activity. Since the block of time process was first revealed to me, it has empowered me to realize far more accomplishments than I ever thought possible. So that's just one passage.
Fantastic. Sounds like something myself and most writers can use because we all like to
Um, I think so.
procrastinate.
It's beneficial.
Definitely. And since this is part of the South Florida Writers Association, how has the association helped you at all? Have you met some new people? Have you met some new friends in it?
I've met some wonderful people at South Florida Writers Association. I have become more inspired to write. There's a commonality in the association because different people write in different genres. They have different experiences. Some have written 30 books, some haven't written the first one, some have four, some are focused on poetry or narratives or memoirs. So I've made a lot of good friends. They have helped and they don't mind sharing their experiences and their resources, quite frankly. So I love the South Florida Writers Association in terms of what it can provide. And I've actually recommended it to other new writers and people that need to be around a like-minded group.
Fantastic. And is there anything else you'd like to discuss we didn't get a chance to talk about?
Well, I'll add this. There is a book, The Sea of Tranquility, that is an anthology of poetry and literary works that South Florida has compiled. It will be presented at NASA as a codex, and it's going to the moon. And I do have a poem in that on page 8.
Oh,
So I'm excited
fantastic.
about that too. I think the launch is at the end of this year or the beginning of next year. So my literary work through South Florida Writers Association will be on the moon.
And what is that poem about that's on page 8?
It's surrounded, the theme had to do with lunar or the moon. So I just creatively wrote a poem about the appreciation for the moon. I don't have it right in front of me,
Sure, sure,
but the
sure.
appreciation for the moon and how it's looked at through different perspectives and from romantic perspectives to practical, and it just flowed. So if you get the book, it's called The Sea of Tranquility. It's on Amazon and other places. Yes, I do appear on page 8.
Great. Well, congratulations on that and your blocks of time, and I hope you have continued success as a writer.
Oh, thank you. And my second book is this one, and this The Miracle Study Guide, and it's for teenagers, any school, public, private, parochial, it doesn't matter. And it's really academic success and how students can really evolve from a C student to an A student. What are the techniques? What are the little things that they're missing organizationally, consistently? Accountability and responsibility are also enumerated in it. So I urge people, you can get this on either book, Blocks of Time, or this one on Amazon. You can get them on Barnes and Noble, print on demand, or my own site, LC Vision Books at yahoo.com.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for your time, Dr. Campbell.
Oh, it's been a pleasure, David. Thank you for having me.
Definitely. Have a great day and see you all next time.
Okay, thank you.